Welcome to After the Refresher. My name is Angelo Garcia III, your host. I'm the Principal Industrial Hygienist for Future Environment Designs. And basically, uh, today's episode, we're going to be discussing our website, specifically the training library. And the training library can be found on our website at futureenv.com or futureenvironmentdesigns.com. As you can see here, we have our website up right now. And basically, as you can see, we have, you can basically register for your courses here. We're under the current schedule. We have our blog right there. And the current blog is talking about the whole OSHA 300A forms that have to be submitted. Our newsletter is here, right? The Safety Susie newsletter, which you can subscribe to here on the website. I'm sorry, here. There's the newsletter. All right. And basically, as you can see, the current, February newsletter is here. The March newsletter will be there on there soon. And like I said, the blog is here. All right. But we want to talk about our training library, which is under the resources tab. So if you click on resources, as you see here, it brings you to resources. And under future environment designs, it is the first link. So you click on that. And here you are in the training library. All right. So the training library, basically, we set this up based as a way to basically provide all different types of information to our clients who attend our refreshers. Most of our clients who attend our refresher know about the training library and know that basically we have a lot of resources there to help them plow through the regulations. And not to mention resources, we have other uh, other documents and some of our presentations. So that first folder, as you can see, it says conference presentation and training. So we basically, that folder has a lot of the presentations that I've done at the Professional Abatement Contractors of New York conference and the Environmental Information Association conference. Both of those, my presentations at both those conferences are located there. We then have the EPA asbestos folder. So if you click on that, you'll find that each folder, you have the HERA regulation folder, you have the ASHERA regulation folder, the NESHAPS folder, and the TSCA regulation folder. Also here, you'll find a bunch of documents that EPA has published over through the years that are clarification documents, guidance documents. The longest time EPA used to call its documents by the color of the book. So basically, you have documents that are known as you have the purple book, and there's the purple book right there. You have the green book, which is kind of like an operations and maintenance management book. You have the silver book, which was basically an air sampling discussion on air sampling book. So you have a bunch of guidance documents there that basically are really hard to get nowadays. You still can get them from the government, but you have to basically know what you're searching for and basically find it there. And as I said, you basically, as you can see, they're right there. The NESHAPS folder, we have several documents here that are very helpful. Two of the major documents that we have here is the EPA's letter blessing the ASTM standard for performing asbestos surveys as a good guide to basically, they would expect owners and building occupant owners of facilities to follow that guide for performing their requirements under the NESHAPS regulation of performing an asbestos survey prior to demolition or renovation. So that letter from EPA is here. Also here are two of the letters that basically talk about that EPA has no closeout day, meaning there's no date on that NESHAPS regulation that says a building does not have to be surveyed. all buildings, no matter the year that the building was built, have to be surveyed, and that survey must include sampling of the building material. You cannot basically uh, use safety data sheets, for example, to say building materials don't have asbestos. You have to sample the building materials to determine that they're asbestos. So those documents are, you'll find those documents here with some other useful documents. So that's under the EPA folder. Right. So we basically also have the EPA lead, EPA PCBs. You have some helpful links and general information. So you see we have ACGIH's folder for ACGIH. We have a folder for ASHRAE. ACGIH is the American Conference of Governmental Industrial Hygienists. The ASHRAE is the American Society of Heating, Refrigeration, Air Conditioning Engineers. We have a folder for American Society of Testing and Materials. We have a folder specifically for one of my good friends, Tom Loberthal, who happens to be as old as I am and been around as long as I have, and has collected many documents. And he was kind enough to basically one time when we met, give me a key fob and said, "Hey, listen, this is all the documents that I've had. They're basically I've been collecting over through the years, some of it, some information very worthwhile." So I was like, "Thank you very much for that. I'm going to just create a folder within my helpful links and call it Tom Lobenthal's folder." So this is Tom Lobenthal. If you know who he is, look. If you don't know who he is, go to LinkedIn. Type in Tom Lobenthal, and you'll see that basically he runs one of the asbestos groups, and his group is is an excellent resource, and they're always having great discussions. And he's always posting some some of the documents that are in this folder. He's posting online so people still have it. This way, that information is not lost. So, like I said, we have our own Tom Lobenthal folder. So that's in honor of Tom. He's a great guy, and I mean, he's a great colleague also. So, and then, and as you can see, we have a zone light folder and some other documents here. Some of these documents are very old, and some of them don't even exist anymore. So it's hard to get these documents. All right, so as we go, we also have a folder for mold and indoor air quality. We have various documents in there, and as you can see, we have a New Jersey folder, which talks about New Jersey's regulation. We have a NIOSH folder where you'll find some of the NIOSH information, especially the NIOSH 7400 regulation, NIOSH 7400 method for collecting air samples. That you'll find that in the NIOSH folder. We have a New York City asbestos folder, where basically the newest document for New York City is the document regarding where is it here? All right, so the city, you'll find the city regulation here, and this is the newest document here. Basically, it's a guidance for complex or multi-phase asbestos abatement project applications. And so this is the DEP is giving guidance in how basically for the submission process, right? So it's telling you what is a complex and multi-phase project, right? What the documents typically apply to the complex, those documents, all right? Best practices. And as you can see, they claim, the EP and DOB claims that they're gonna, the responses range from approximately 2 to 5 months, depending on the complexity, as well as the accuracy of the application. Not sure that they're actually meeting that based on what we've been hearing in our refresher courses. But again, there it is in writing, that's what they're trying to achieve. Okay. All right. And then we have some documents that basically are in the state folder. right? So we have a New York State asbestos folder here. And basically, New York State has been a little active lately. If you followed us in our second episode with John Patchouli, we had talked about basically New York State doing providing a guidance document regarding asbestos surveys. So here's that guidance document that they provided. All right, and it basically talks about that all buildings need to be asbestos surveyed. If you don't want to perform a survey, that's fine, but you then have to assume all the building materials are asbestos. So the only way to basically avoid an asbestos survey, there isn't. Excuse me, there is. You don't have to survey it, just have to assume everything asbestos. Obviously, that could be very expensive, especially if you're starting to do work on materials that may not be asbestos and you're treating it as asbestos. So basically, the survey is typically going to basically will give you an idea of whether you're dealing with an asbestos project or not. All right. Then New York State, two of the newer documents that we just basically got over the past couple of weeks, but two more documents the state has published regarding asbestos surveys again. These two new documents are documents that New York State is basically sending to municipalities, and both these documents are meant to basically inform the municipality of the asbestos requirements, specifically the asbestos requirements for performing an asbestos survey. All right, so there's two documents. Here's the first one, which is P230. All right, which basically, as you can see, is a document about asbestos surveys, and it's written to the municipalities as kind of like an introduction of what the state is trying to do. The state is not expecting the municipalities to enforce the asbestos regulation, but they are expecting the municipalities to assist in their process of making sure asbestos surveys are done. And it does let you know why they're doing this. There have been situations where asbestos has been disturbed during permitted work, and that disturbed asbestos has caused expensive cleanups and costly abatement to be done because basically people didn't check to make sure it was asbestos before they started work, and then eventually find out after the fact that there's asbestos there. So that's become a very big problem. Depending on what you're talking about, if you talk about the restoration industry, where the restoration industry tends to come in an emergency, they're basically worried about flood, and they basically do a flood cut, which is basically about 2 foot up the wall. And then, but they don't check to see if it's asbestos first. And then basically it turns out to be asbestos. And now they have to do a whole asbestos cleanup. And that cleanup is a lot more expensive than it would have been if they had checked first. Okay. So the municipalities are being informed about the requirement and the need for these surveys. And the state is just asking them to assist in that process, and by handing this document out to those people who apply for a building permit. All right, so basically, as you can see, it's addressed to building permit applicants, and it's letting them know that they need to perform an asbestos survey, and that survey has to cover these building materials. All right, and as you can see, these building materials, a lot of people have a tendency of believing, oh, roofing shingles, you don't have to do a survey on them, they're non-friable. Well, unfortunately, in New York State, they are considered an asbestos-containing material that needs to be addressed, because if it's not handled properly, it can actually release asbestos into the workplace, into your home or your business. So it has to be abated properly, and basically, the companies that do this type of work have to be licensed in New York State. The workers have to be certified, and all that requires workman's comp and disability insurance to basically make sure that the workers, if they get sick, they'll be able to basically pay for their illnesses. All right, so that's the reason why workman's comp and disability tends to be much more expensive for asbestos guys. And so that's the reason why a lot of times the asbestos, when you get an asbestos a price for asbestos work, you're sitting there going, wow, this is really expensive. And the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of insurance that is behind those numbers that you're not seeing per se, right? So workman's comp has to cover them if they get ill. Disability has to cover them if they get ill. They're considered, the workers are considered high risk workers. They're the only workers that are higher risk than them is roofers. And they also have to have general liability with no exception for asbestos. So there you go. Those are the kind of things that they have to have. And those insurances basically can cost quite a bit of money. Okay. So those are the two, those things are brand new in the state, in our state folder, the training library. Go. So those two documents are new in the state folder, and basically have been published by New York State Department of Labor's Asbestos Control Bureau, which regulates asbestos. And then the last folder I'm going to cover is the OSHA folder, where we have a lot of the OSHA regulations that the industry has to deal with. And the asbestos folder is the first folder. And obviously 1926 1101, which is the asbestos construction standard, is here. Also here is the letter that the Varga letter, which the Varga letter basically says that, reminds people that OSHA, in a sense, hid the Varga letter. This letter basically reminds contractors that OSHA regulates asbestos containing materials as 1% or less. So typically for EPA and other and the state regulation, asbestos containing materials are greater than 1%. Under OSHA, however, if you have materials that are 1% or less, those materials are also regulated by OSHA. And this letter, the Varga letter, is the one that explains what exactly, how OSHA exactly enforces that regulation, that requirement, and exactly what requirements are expected from the contractors who work with asbestos. Okay, so that's our training library. As you can see, there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of documents that are basically people refer back to, and we look forward to basically you guys having access to it, and hopefully it serves the purpose we designed it for. Originally, in the original regulations, before we had things like Dropbox and these OneDrives and all those stuff, back then, if you wanted to give the regulations to the people who came to class, you used to have to give them a CD. Actually, further back, you had to print it, and basically you would have a 3-inch book of regulations, and as soon as the regulations updated, well, that book was garbage. Now, with the current technology, and as you can see, we use a Dropbox as the basis of this technology. You have access to this information, and anything that's missing, I like to say anything that's missing here, if you think something should be here, all you have to do is send us an email, and we'll basically find it and put it into the appropriate folder here. Alrighty. So so hopefully, if you have any questions with that, don't be afraid to send us an email regarding these things. We love to hear from you. We love basically being able to assist you with any of the information that you need. And so basically, at this point, I'd like to thank the people that have helped us do all of this. PRMG is our marketing group, and they were the ones who helped us bring this new website to life, which I'm thrilled about because everything's right in one location, where basically you can find everything in one spot. So I'm very much in love with my new website. And okay, I also like to thank Site Docs for helping us with develop site safety and health programs for our clients. All right, together with Site Docs, we've been able to help several of our clients be able to have their safety and health programs online. And I'd like to thank ILC Dover. They're a wonderful company. They're the makers of the glove bag. They're makers of the remote decons, the pop-up decons, and thank them for basically providing us with training materials for the glove bag and for the pop-up decons. I'd like to thank PIP HSP, which basically owns Honeywell and basically sells the North respirator. North respirators are my favorite respirator to fit test, primarily because they we usually don't have a lot of hard time. We don't have a hard time with different type of faces. Pretty much most of the North respirators fit just about any size face. There are some that it doesn't fit, but it's rare to find the face that the North respirator doesn't fit. And DeVal, I can't say enough about DeVal Safety and Supplies. Basically, their company has been supplying us with basically suits and other equipment that we need to basically do the training, and especially the initial training for the classes. So they supply us with suits and gloves, and things that basically we need to basically keep training people and make sure people know what they're how to basically use a respirator and basically how to basically get dressed for the industry. So I'd like to thank them too. All right, so thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed our little episode here, and take a look at our training library and tell me what you think. Be safe out there and have a great day.